Okay, so we are now starting with exemptions, correct? Ah. So now we are starting the discussion with section 11 and section 6. Section 11 of CGST Act, 6 of IGST Act, where the government is giving the power, government is having the power to issue the notification, okay, stating the list of exemptions. So there may be list of exemptions with respect to services, maybe with respect to goods. Right. Power to grant exemption. The government holds the power. The notification is the key. Right. Power to grant exemption from tax, section 11 of CGST and section 6 of IGST, subsection 1 of section 11 here. So where the government is satisfied that it is necessary in the public interest, that it is necessary in the public interest, so to do, it may on the recommendation of the council. So in the first chapter itself, while talking about this council, GST council, so what GST council will do, we have seen the list of activities which are functions of GST council, where they will recommend the rates of GST. They will recommend the threshold limit of GST. So they will recommend this composition dealers like threshold limit for composition. They will recommend exemptions list. Okay, so likewise, GST council will decide on all these matters. Okay, so if the GST council is of your view that a particular service in the public interest, so has to be given what we call exemption. In such cases, the government, the council can recommend the government can take it further by notification exempt generally, by notification on the recommendations of the council, by notification exempt generally, either absolutely or subject to such conditions. So it may be conditional exemption, conditional exemption, or absolute exemption, or absolute exemption. So as may be specified therein, goods or services or both of any specified description from the whole or any part of the tax, from the whole or any part of the tax, that means all the tax or part of the tax will be given as exemption, tax leviable thereon with effect from such date as may be notified in such notification. Okay, so notification will be released. In that notification, the effective date of exemption also will be told. Okay, so government on the recommendations of the council, on the recommendations of the GST council, if it is necessary in the public interest, if it is necessary in the public interest, so they will give some goods and services, okay, exemption. The exemption may be either absolute exemption or it may be special exemption with conditions. Okay, where the government is satisfied that it is necessary in the public interest, it may on the recommendations of the council by special order. It is a general exemption. It is a general exemption. Here, exemption by special order. Exemption by special order. Okay, in each case, in each case, under circumstances of an exceptional nature, to be stated in such a order, exempt from the payment of tax any goods or services or both on which the tax is leviable. So generally, sanitizers are there, masks are there. Okay, so generally, if they are sold, that will be taxable. So during the pandemic, if they are selling means it is exempted. So likewise, government can bring a special order under special circumstances with special conditions. Next, see here, government government may, if it consider necessary or expedient, so to do for the purpose of clarifying the scope or applicability of notification. So if the notification may be under subsection 1 or subsection 2, notification, exemption notification may be subsection through subsection 1 or subsection 2. But if the government wants to clarify particular phrase or a particular word, okay, which is given in the notification, government want to clarify means it can issue a clarification, it can issue a further notification clarifying the earlier notification. Okay, right. So government may, if it considers necessary or expedient so to do for the purpose of clarifying the scope or applicability of any notification issued under subsection 1 and subsection 2, issued under subsection 1 and subsection 2, insert an explanation in such notification or order as the case may be by notification at any time within 1 year of the issue of such notification. That means if an exemption notification is released on a particular date, from such date, within a period of 1 year, if the government want to clarify or explain something, government can, by way of issuing a notification, can clarify or explain something with respect to this exemption notification within a period of 1 year. So if they are doing so within a period of 1 year, that will be having a retrospective effect. That will be having a retrospective effect. So with respect to exemption which is already released, already notified, so government wants to clarify something in such notification. Okay, so such clarification notification can be given within a period of 1 year, which will be having the retrospective effect. Which will be having the retrospective effect. Okay, so under subsection 1 or order under subsection 2, and every such explanation shall have effect as if it had always been the part of the first notification. Always been the part of the first notification means retrospective effect. Retrospective effect. Retrospective effect. Got it? Retrospective effect. Next, for the purpose of this section, where an exemption in respect of any goods or services or both from the whole or part of the tax leviable thereon has been granted, absolutely registered persons supplying such goods or services or both shall not collect tax. So if the exemption is there means taxable person shall not collect a tax. He cannot collect a tax in excess of the effective rate on such supply of the goods or services or both. Right? Okay. So now we have seen section 10, section 11, subsection 1, subsection 2 and subsection 3. In subsection 1, what they are telling? The government in the public interest can issue exemption notification, exemption with respect to goods or services, whatever it may be. Okay, from the whole or any part of the tax. It may be absolute or it may be conditional. Okay, government may by special order, if it is necessary, can exempt. Okay, now so can exempt with special conditions under special circumstances. Next, subsection 3. So within a period of 1 year from the date of exemption notification, government can issue a clarification or explanation which will be having a retrospective effect. So this is what is subsection 3. So whenever the exemption explanation, whenever there is an exemption provided or given, in such cases, the taxable person shall not collect any GST. Okay, or not more than effective rate of GST. He shall collect not more than effective rate of GST. Okay, right. Next, you see here. See, all this is explanation with respect to this 3 subsections only. Now you see the first exemption, charitable and religious services. First exemption, charitable and religious services. Okay, right. Helping hands don't pay tax. Okay, charitable and religious services. So services provided by charitable or religious trust. Services provided by charitable or religious trust. First of all, what are charitable activities? What is the definition? What are charitable activities? See, charitable activities mean either it may be a charity or it may be a trust. We cannot say that they are doing the activities. We cannot say that they are doing the activities for free of cost. So there are many charitable organizations or trusts, so which will be doing educational services, which will be doing hospital services, but still they will collect hospital, what do we call, bills. They'll collect education fees. So they will not provide the services at free of cost. They are having an objective of non-profit motive. They are having an objective of a particular objective which will be serving the society in the public interest. They are doing. They may be having such objective, but still we cannot say that they are doing all the services at free of cost. So that means they are charging something. There will be consideration for their services also. For charitable activities also, there will be consideration. They are not doing it free of cost. Okay, right. See, so what are charitable activities? So the term charitable activities means the activities relating to public health. Okay, public health. Next, advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga. Next, advancement of educational programs or skill development. Okay, preservation of environment. Okay, see, first of all, the charitable activities. Public health by way of care or counseling of terminally ill patients. terminally ill patients or persons. So what is terminally ill patients? So almost about to die. Okay, right. So are persons with severe physical or mental disabilities, care or counseling, persons afflicted with HIV or AIDS, persons addicted to dependency forming substances such as narcotic drugs or alcohols, who are addicted to alcohols or drugs. Okay, caring them or counseling them. Next, public awareness of preventive health, family planning or prevention of HIV infection. Okay, so these are all charitable activities. Next, advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga. Okay, for spreading religion, spreading spirituality, spreading yoga. Okay, next, advancement of educational programs or skill development relating to whom, advancement of educational programs or skill development relating to whom, abandoned, orphaned, homeless children, helping them, physically or mentally abused or traumatized persons or prisoners or persons over the age of 65 years, and that too in rural areas. So if they are doing advancement of education, like they are doing some skill courses to senior citizens who is having age of more than 65 in urban area, then it will not be a charitable activity. Okay, so charitable activity means they shall be doing in a rural area for 65 years, more than 65 years aged people in villages, okay, or rural areas. And if they are doing for physically, mentally abused persons or prisoners or abandoned or orphaned or homeless children, so then only it will comes under charitable activities. Next, preservation of environment, including watersheds, forest, wildlife, etc. So all these are charitable activities. So if a charitable organizations or charitable institutions doing these activities only, those will be given as exemption. So beyond this, any other charitable activity is there means that will be taxable. That will be other than charitable activities. What are charitable activities? Here there are 4 points list. Okay. So other than those charitable activities, if anything is provided by charitable act, see, we have seen this one quid pro quo. During the consideration, charitable activity is there, charitable organization is there. So they have received a donation. Okay, there is a quid pro quo. That means the business name has to be displayed at the premises of the temple. Okay, that means advertisement service given by charitable organization, that is taxable. That is see, the charitable organization is there but not doing charity, not doing charity. Okay, so they are doing advertisement service to a particular business, then that will comes under the scope of GST, scope of supply, scope of GST will be levied, taxable it is. Okay, whenever they are doing charitable activities, then only it will be given as exemption, right? Next, see here, activities of a school, activities of a school, college, an institution run by a trust which do not fall within the scope of charitable activities will not be exempted from GST. Activities of a school, college or institution run by a trust which do not fall within the scope of charitable activities, so will not be exempted. That means it will be again taxable. Next, hostel accommodation services provided by trusts to students do not fall within the scope of charitable activities. That means those are also taxable. GST will be levied. Hostel accommodation services provided by trusts which do not fall within the scope of charitable activities. Next, hospital services provided by clinical establishment, an authorized medical practitioner. Clinical establishment means it is a hospital. Okay, authorized medical practitioner, authorized medical practitioner, that means doctors or paramedics. Paramedics means they will be professional medical staff. So generally, see, ambulance will be having some medical staff. So in emergency situations, they are trained. Okay, trained to treat in the emergency situations. At least first aid they can do. Those are called paramedics of a religious or charitable trust shall also be exempted. So hospital services provided by a clinical establishment, authorized medical practitioner or paramedics of a religious or charitable trust. See here, we are not talking about healthcare service here. We are talking about hospital services or healthcare services provided by the trust or charitable institutions. See, healthcare service is different. If you are having an hospital, you are treating, then also there is an exemption to it. But still, But still, that is different and this is different. When the charitable institutions or trusts are running the hospital and they are doing this service, what is that? Services provided by a clinical establishment, authorized medical practitioner or paramedics of a religious or charitable trust shall also be exempted. Next, services provided to charitable trusts. Services provided to charitable trust or religious trust are not outside the scope of GST. That means if you are providing service to trust, that also will be taxable. Unless specifically exempted, all goods and services supplied to a charitable or religious trust are liable to GST. Okay, if there is a specific exemption, then it will be exempted. Okay, next, yoga and medication camp. Yoga and medication camp. Camp means it will be for a period of 7 days or 3 days or 4 days. Residential programs will be there. Residential yoga program will be there. So likewise, so if the fees or consideration charged from the participants for participating in religious, yoga, medication program or camp towards advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga shall be exempted. Okay, fees charged with respect to what? Advancement of religion. That means spreading the religion. Okay, advancement of spirituality. Okay, advancement of yoga. So residential program is there for which a consideration is being charged, where they will teach you what? Towards advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga shall be exempted. See, if residential programs or camps where the fees charged includes cost of lodging and boarding shall also be exempted. In residential programs or medication camps, if they are taking along with yoga services, they also give you accommodation, lodging, boarding, food, everything they will provide. So if there is a consolidated fees for it, then it will be given as exemption. Right, next, providing accommodation or serve food and drinks against consideration in any way, in any form, including donation, such activities will be taxable. Whenever it is a consolidated service, then it is exempted. If it is provided separately for some separate charges. So a camp is happening there they are providing drinks, food and others and other facilities. That at that time it will be taxable. Okay, next, recreational training or coaching. So who is doing? Trust or charitable organizations are doing services by way of training or coaching in recreational activities. Relating to arts, culture by an individual or sports by charitable entities. See, if a charitable trust or organization is there, they are giving training in see this traditional art forms. What is that? Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam, or any other like what we called Silambam, Kalaripattu. Likewise, there are traditional art forms are there. So if they are training in such art forms, then it is exempted. Let's say if they are training in Western dance, so that is not a traditional art form. So in such cases, that will be taxable. Okay, if they are providing coaching with respect to a particular sport, means a basketball training or football training. So likewise, if they are giving any coaching means with respect to a particular sport, then that will be exempted. So other than that, if other than it is not covered under art, it is not covered under the culture means, then it will be taxable. Okay. See, so sports by charitable entities. So if the charitable entity are registered under 12A or 12AB of the Income Tax Act, then they are exempted. Next, religion related services. Services by way of by a person by way of conduct of any religious ceremony. By conduct of religious ceremony means, say a priest is there, a pujari is there, conducting a ceremony. Okay, conducting a ceremony. So in such cases, the priest is charging 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees, whatever. So how? So you might be knowing this. The charges of pujari will be generally 15,000 or 20,000 for each such function or event. Okay, so that will not be taxable. That will be exempted. Renting of precincts of religious place meant for general public, owned or managed by an entity registered as a charitable or religious trust under Income Tax Act, managed by a trust or institution registered under section 1023C of Income Tax Act, or a body or an authority covered under the said Income Tax Act. See, precincts of the religious place. Precincts of the religious place means surroundings of a temple. So when you observe the surroundings of the temple, There may be rooms for accommodation. There may be shops for selling some articles, so which will be famous there or local made or whatever it may be. Okay, there may be some other convention halls. There may be kalyan mandapams like this, convention halls. Okay, or for for displaying or having a stage there. So likewise, they will be having some immovable property which is attached in the surroundings of the temple. Okay, right. See what they are telling here. Renting of such precincts of a religious place, renting of the surroundings of the religious place. A temple is there. Around the temple, there are some rooms for accommodation. Around the temple, there are some kalyan mandapams. Around the temple, there are some shops, which will be given on rent. Immovable property is given on rent. By whom? Obviously, temple authorities will give it. Okay. So in such cases, an entity registered as a charitable, a trust or a body or an authority which is giving the religious precincts as a rent. So those will be given as exemption, but if those are crossing these limits, if those are crossing these monetary limits, then it will be taxable. See here, whenever they are renting rooms, the charges per day crossing 1000 rupees, then it will be taxable. See, room charge per day crossing 1000 rupees, then it will be taxable. Next, renting of premises, community halls, kalyan mandapams or open area and like where the charges are 10,000 rupees or more per day. That means they are giving convention hall on rent. A temple is there. In temple premises there is a kalyan mandapam. That kalyan mandapam is given for rent. They have charged a rent of 15,000 rupees. Charged a rent of 15,000 rupees. That means per day rent cross at 10,000 rupees. Then it will be taxable. Okay, exemption up to 10,000. Whole 15,000 will be taxable. No, whole 15,000 will be taxable. Okay, entire 15,000 will be taxable. Next, renting of shops or other spaces for business or commerce where the charges are 10,000 or more per month. So the amount charged by whatever name called for conduct of any religious ceremony is exempt from GST and applicable to conduct of religious ceremonies for all. And religious precincts are given on rent means then it will be exempt. But if they are crossing this particular charges, then it will be taxable. So these limits are important. There may be a question on this. These limits are important. For rooms, how much? 1000 rupees per day. For convention halls, 10,000 per day. Okay. For shops, establishments, 10,000 per month. Okay. Shop rent is more than 10,000, then it is taxable. Right. Next, services provided by specified organization in respect of a religious pilgrimage. So just like recently Kumbh Mela has happened. So for what we call to the devotees who is coming to Kumbh Mela, so there may be a separate organization, specified organization, a body or association is helping the pilgrimages. Okay, so pilgrims will be helped by this what we call associations. So they are helping. They may be providing some accommodation service. There may be providing them food. There may be providing water or other requirements, whatever. Okay, so they are providing there. So in connection with the government of India, by our state government. Okay, so they are what we call so along with the state government, along with the central government, helping the state government and central government, so they are managing the entire pilgrimage. Okay, they are managing the entire what we call religious pilgrimage. So in such cases, if there is a bilateral agreement between whom government of India and such organization or and such organization like Kuman Mandal Vikas Nigam Limited. So it is of a government of Uttarakhand undertaking, so which will help in conducting religious pilgrimages. Okay, so Hajj committee for Muslims or state Hajj committee, including joint state committee. Okay, so these are specified organizations which are formed to help the pilgrimages, which are formed to help in smooth conducting of a pilgrimage. Okay, so if these bodies are providing services, those will be given as exemption. So services provided by specified organization in respect of a religious pilgrimage facilitated by government of India under bilateral arrangements are exempt from GST. Specified organizations means KMVN, Kuman Mandal Vikas Nigam Limited, and Hajj Committee of India, State Hajj Committee. So that will be specified organizations. Next, coaching related services. coaching related services. Services by way of training or coaching in recreational activities. It may be arts or culture, sports by charitable entities registered under the Income Tax Act. Next, the training or coaching in recreational activities in the areas other than sports, culture or sports will not be, other than arts, sports, culture will not be exempted from GST. Coaching or training related to all forms of dance, music, painting, sculpture making, sculpture making, literacy activities, theater, sports, etc. of any school, tradition or language or any of the sports fall within the scope of recreational activities exempt from GST. So all these are recreational activities, all these are art forms, all these are culture. So advancement of the culture, for advancement of the culture, if they are doing any of these services, that will be given as exemption. Who shall be doing this coaching related services in art or sports? Who shall be doing this? Charitable organizations. Okay, so charitable organizations. So these are all with respect to exemption in case of charitable and religious services. Charitable and religious services. So a charitable organization, if doing any of these activities mentioned here, means that will be given as exemption. Firstly, they have given a scope for the definition of charitable activity. What is a charitable activity? We have four different points here. Okay, public health, advancement of religion, spirituality and yoga, advancement of educational programs, preservation of environment. In public health, care or counseling of whom? Severe disabled persons, mentally disabled persons, a person affected with HIV or AIDS, and person addicted to dependency or forming substance such as drugs, who are addicted to drugs, and public awareness of preventive health, family planning, etc. And advancement of religion, spirituality, yoga. Advancement of educational programs or skill development, which is related to abandoned, okay, orphaned, homeless children, physically or mentally abused, traumatized, prisoners, and persons more than 65 years, and that too in a rural area. And preservation of environment, including watersheds, forests, wildlife. So these are all charitable activities. If these activities are done by a charitable institution, then that will be exempted. Other charitable activities are taxable. Right. Activities of a school, college, institution run by a trust, so which are falling within the scope of charitable activities, that will be given as exemption. And hostel accommodation provided to students by a trust will be taxable again. Hospital services provided by the trust, like it may be clinical establishment, or it may be authorized medical practitioner, or it may be paramedics, or religious or charitable activities shall be given as exemption. Next, services provided to charitable trusts. Services provided to charitable trusts or charitable or religious trusts are not outside the scope of GST unless specifically exempted. All the goods or services provided to charitable trusts will be taxable only. Okay. Next, yoga and medication camp, when there is a consideration charged for residential programs, medication camps, residential programs, and cost of lodging, boarding, and food, everything is included in the consideration, then it will be exempted. If a separate consideration is charged for providing this food, drinks, with a separate consideration, then it will be taxable. Recreational training or coaching, so whenever the coaching is there in arts, culture, sports, then it will be exempted. Okay, religion related services, so services provided by way of conducting a religious ceremony by the priests will be exempted. Renting of the precincts of the religious place means that will be taxable provided the charges crossed a particular limit. So ceiling limit will be, renting of rooms means per day 1000 rupees, if it is crossing, taxable. Next, renting of community halls 10,000 rupees per day, crossing means taxable. Next, renting of shops around the premises of the temple or religious places, then 10,000 rupees, if it is more than 10,000 rupees per month, it is taxable again, right? Services provided by specified organizations which are along with the state government or along with government of India, they are coming together and helping the pilgrimages and in the smooth functioning or smooth conducting of the pilgrimage. So those organizations services will be given as exemption. So in that Kuman Mandal Vikas Nigam Limited and Hajj committee are notified. So if these are providing services, then that will be exempted, right? So this is all about charitable and religious activities. Okay, exemption, correct? So first exemption is over. So now comes agricultural services. So here from farm to market, not under the tax bracket. From farm to market, not under the tax bracket. See, whatever is being produced in a farm, whatever is being produced in a farm, and from farm to market, whatever is being transferred or whatever is being transported from farm to market, so that will be given as exemption. Okay, so see, whatever the agriculture produce is there, no, for that agriculture produce, the essential characteristics shall not be changed. So as it is, the agriculture produce shall come to the market. Agriculture produce shall come to the market. Market means the primary market. Market means the primary market. Primary market means, so you will be finding this agricultural markets will be there, no, that market. It is not the retail markets. See, if we are producing some mangoes, so you are harvesting the mangoes, packing the mangoes in a 2 kg packets and bringing that packets to Reliance Fresh. So then what you are doing, you are not making it ready for the primary market, you are making it ready for the retail market. Okay, whenever you are making it ready for the primary market, that will be exempted. Whenever you are making it ready for the retail market, then it will be taxable. And you should not change the essential characteristics of the product, agriculture produce. If you are changing the characteristics of the agriculture produce, then again it will be taxable. Let's say tea is there. Okay, tea powder is there. So tea powder will be coming from tea leaves. So tea leaves will be the agriculture produce. Tea leaves will be agriculture produce. So whenever you are processing such tea leaves, then it will become tea powder. Okay, so if you are doing any activity for processing such tea leaves to tea powder, then it will not comes under agricultural activity. Okay, then it will not be given as exemption. So whatever is there with respect to agriculture produce and whatever you are doing for making it marketing, making it fit for the primary market, then that will be given as exemption. These are the two main rules here. Okay, so let's say the groundnuts are there. So how the groundnuts will be harvested? Groundnut plant will be there. You should be plucking out that groundnut plant. You will be finding these groundnuts. Okay, so it will be full of some sand. So those groundnuts will be harvested, and then they have to be like what we call cured. Cured means they have to be washed. Okay, those has to be dried. Okay, and then they will be the sand will be separated, and then only the groundnuts will come. Okay, in a particular bag. So if this process are involved, these are the processes which are not changing the agriculture produce. We are just cleaning the agriculture produce, making it ready for the market. Even if paddy also like that only. Harvesting paddy, so for this paddy grains will be there, no? So in order to separate the grains, there will be many processes involved here. So, but the agriculture produce is not getting changed here. The character of the agriculture produce is not getting changed here. When the paddy is becoming rice, you have to do milling of rice, milling of paddy. If milling of paddy is being done, the rice is coming. No, rice is not an agriculture produce. Paddy is an agriculture produce there. Paddy grains are an agriculture produce there. So when you are milling it, it is becoming rice. Rice is not an agriculture produce there. So only we are talking about, we are giving exemption to agriculture produce, unless and until there is a specific exemption for a particular product. I'm talking about rice. For rice, for handling of rice, for storing of rice, there is a specific exemption, separate exemption. I'm talking about, see, let's say I'm talking about this potato is there, potato chips is there. Potato is there, potato chips is there. So potato is an agriculture produce. You are making potato chips out of such potato, agriculture produce. Then potato chips are not agriculture produce, and hence they are taxable. So whenever you are changing the characteristics of an agriculture produce, then it will be taxable. And whenever you are doing the activities relating to the agriculture produce, and you are doing the activities which helps in marketing the primary agriculture produce, which is not altering the agriculture produce, those activities will be again exempted. Okay, so now we are starting. See here, services by way of loading, unloading, packing, storage, warehousing of agriculture produce. Okay, loading, unloading, packing, storage or warehousing of agriculture produce. Okay, right, loading and unloading is is nothing but handling, by the, generally by the laborers. Okay, packing, storage, warehousing. Storage, warehouse is in a, generally in a immovable property, like what we call cold storages, maybe cold storage. Maybe cold storage sometimes whenever the goods are more perishable, whenever the produce is more perishable. Otherwise in a normal godown. Okay, so storage of agriculture produce, that is given as exemption. Next, by way of warehousing of minor forest produce. Minor forest produce. So minor forest produce means some leaves. It will be like tea leaves, coffee, beans, likewise. Okay. Next, tendu leaves. Next, service relating to cultivation of plants, rearing of all live forms of animals, rearing of all live forms of animals. So whatever the, it may be, whatever the farming may be, so it may be farming of cows, or it may be farm of buffaloes, whatever the farms may be. But if the farm is a horse farm, stud farming if you are doing means that will be out of the scope. So if you are doing a farming, like it may be cow farming, or it may be buffalo farming, or it may be goat farming, sheep farming, whatever it may be. But if you are doing it for food fiber, then only that will be considered. So stud farming, if you are doing means you are not doing it for food and fiber. So generally stud farming is there means from that horses, so there will be some races, horse races will be conducted. So there is no much what we call help from such horses rather than horse races. We are not using for transportation and all, no. Sometimes very rarely we are using it. Okay, right. See here, rearing of all live forms of animals except rearing of horses for food, fiber, fuel, raw materials, or other similar products or agriculture produce by whatever name called, by way of. See here, we are doing farming or cultivation of plants or rearing of animals, but for these purposes only: food, fiber, fuel, raw material, or other similar products or agriculture produce. Okay, so whenever, let's say somebody is having a dog farm, okay, so where they are selling the dogs, so they will be having some particular breeds, so they will be selling the dogs. Okay, so that will be different. It is not for food, it is not for fiber, or it is not for any activity which is mentioned here. So that will be again taxable again. Okay, so if it is, even though it is a rearing or rearing of animals, a live form of animal, but still it will not be considered here. Okay, so only those will be considered, so which are used for food, fiber, fuel, raw materials, etc. Okay, so and horse farms are also, stud farms are also kept outside the scope here. Scope of exemption, that means those are taxable. Next, are agriculture operations directly relating to production of any agriculture produce, including cultivation, harvesting, threshing, plant protection, or testing, whatever it may be. So which are directly related to agriculture produce, agriculture produce. So any activity, it may be cultivation, or it may be harvesting, or it may be threshing, or it may be plant protection, or it may be testing, whatever it may be, so that will be given as exemption. Next, supply of farm labor. So generally there will be labor Mestri. Okay, Mestri will be having 30 to 40 or 50 labors. So those labors will be provided for doing agriculture. That is what is supply of farm labor. So that is an activity which is exempted activity. Okay, if you are providing labor to the contractor for construction of a building, if you are providing labor to the contractor for construction of a building, that is taxable. If you are providing the labor for agriculture produce, for doing agriculture, providing farm labor, that is exempted. Okay, and next, same in both the cases we are doing supply of human resources. Whenever you are doing for the farm, whenever you are doing for the agriculture, it is exempted. Whenever you are doing for a commercial activity, then it is taxable. Right. Next, processes carried out at an agricultural farm. In the farm, like it may be including tending, pruning, cutting, harvesting, drying, cleaning, trimming, sun drying, fumigating, curing, sorting, grading, cooling, or bulk packaging, and such like operations which do not alter the essential characteristics of the agriculture produce. So whatever the activity you are doing, whatever the service you are doing to the agriculture produce, but the essential characteristics of the agriculture produce is not changing. The mango is in the form of mango only. It is not becoming any other product. Okay, it is not becoming any like what we call out of mango there are some drinks are there, no? It is not becoming maza, it is not becoming slice or all. Okay, so whenever the characteristics of the agriculture produce is being maintained, okay, whenever the tomato is there, it is not becoming into not becoming into ketchup by doing this process. So you are just cleaning the tomato or grading the tomato or sorting the tomato. Okay, so based on the sizes, or else it is unclean, very unclean, it is full of sand, then it is cleaned and made it ready for the market. Okay, so if you are doing the activity which is not changing the essential characteristics of agriculture produce, then it will be exempted. It may be any activity or it may be any process. Next, renting or leasing of agricultural machinery. Agricultural machinery means it may be a tractor or it may be any other machinery which is used for harvesting. Harvesting machines will be there. Okay, paddy harvesting machine will be there, or wheat harvesting machines will be there. So for every harvest there is a separate machinery. So providing such machinery on rent, okay, or leasing such agricultural land, leasing agricultural land or giving agricultural land for that to agricultural land is given on rent or given on lease for agricultural activity, then it is exempted. If agricultural land is given on rent to others for the purpose other than agriculture, let's say agricultural land is there, okay, agricultural land is there, that is given for movie shooting, that is again taxable. So agricultural land is given for only agricultural purpose, okay, then only it will be exempted. So renting or leasing of agricultural machinery or vacant land with or without a structure incidental to its use, that means farmhouse. If the agricultural land is having a farmhouse, that farmhouse will be used for only agricultural activities, for keeping the agricultural tools, for keeping the machinery, or for using it as a residence for the farm labor. So likewise, if the farmhouse is being used for agricultural activities, so if the farmhouse is also a part of the farm, then also it will be exempted. So it is, if the farmhouse is given on rent to a club or to some other activity, okay, that will be again taxable. If it is for agricultural activity, then it is exempted. Next, loading, unloading, packing, storing or warehousing of agricultural produce, it is exempted. Agricultural extension services. What is agricultural extension service? Like, so if somebody is doing some research on agriculture or agriculture crops, some research is being conducted, scientific research is being conducted. So what are the agricultural practices to be adopted? So there is a new type of fertilizers coming up, pesticide coming up. So or in order to increase the production, okay, so there's some research is being conducted. So those are all comes under agricultural extension services. So if agricultural extension services are being conducted, means given, means that will be again exempted. Okay, services by an agriculture producing marketing committee, say APMC, agriculture produce marketing committee. So after the production of the agriculture produce, there shall be some market. That will be the committee or market from the market committee or the personnel from the state government department, which will be helping the farmers. That means the product will be taken by the agriculture produce marketing committee, or they will be arranging the spaces for selling these products or warehousing these products. So they will be giving the shops on rent. Okay, agriculture produce marketing committee, it is a state committee. It is a state committee, and district wise there will be a separate committee. District wise separate committee will be there. District wise separate chairman will be there. Okay, so that will be agriculture produce marketing committee. So agriculture produce will be coming to this market, agricultural market. So which will be arranged by the state government. So if the agriculture produce marketing committee is serving whom? Serving the farmers, serving the agriculturalists. So they will be charging some commission. Agriculture produce marketing committee will be charging some commission. So if there is a produce coming to the market, so on all the bags of rice or on all the bags of paddy, they will be charging 1 rupee per each bag or 1 rupee per quinta. Okay, likewise there will be some charge. So likewise they will charge. So that is what is commission earned by the agriculture produce marketing committee. That means services are being provided by agriculture produce marketing committee, that will be given as exemption. Okay, right. So by a commission agent for sale or purchase of agriculture produce. Okay, next, see here, processes which alter the essential characteristics of agriculture produce are liable to GST. Okay, right. Okay, so process which alter the essential characteristics of agriculture produce are liable to GST. Okay, so example, potato chips are manufactured through process which alter the essential characteristics of potato. So process which make the agriculture produce marketable in the primary market. Marketable in the primary market, so not the secondary market or not the retail market. So if it is made getting ready, see, some mangoes are there, they are getting into packages of 2 kgs each, so we are doing retail packing. So if the retail packing activity is being conducted, means that is taxable again. Okay, so if it is making it ready for primary market, then only it will be exempted. Next, the processes of grinding, sterilizing, extraction, packing in retail packs of agriculture products, which makes the agriculture produce marketable in retail packing or retail market, are liable to GST. Loading, unloading, packing, storage or warehousing of rice are exempted. See here, this is a special point. See, rice is not an agriculture produce. Rice is not an agriculture produce because essential characteristics of the agriculture produce has been changed by milling of the paddy into rice. Milling of the paddy into rice has changed the essential characteristics of agriculture produce. But still, for rice, there is a specific exemption. So if you are handling rice, loading the rice or unloading the rice, okay, packing of rice or storage of rice or warehousing of rice, whatever it may be, that will be given as exemption. Okay, next, processed products, processed tea and coffee. Processed tea and coffee are not agriculture produce, correct? So tea leaves will be agriculture produce, coffee beans will be agriculture produce, but not the coffee powder and the tea powder. Okay, right. So not an agriculture produce and liable to GST. Next, jaggery. Jaggery processing of sugarcane into jaggery changes its essential characteristics, thus not an agriculture produce and liable to GST. Next, pulses dal. So pulse, see, they are not whole grains. So the grains will be split. The grains will be split or dehusked. Okay, now the layer. See that what we call. See, if you are making some dosa, it may be okay green gram dosa. Green grams means, so the layer over the top, over the whole grains has to be taken out, and then they have to split into pulses. They have to split into pulses. So those will be grinded. That means the essential characteristics is changing here. It is not directly the agriculture produce. There is some other activity or other activities is being made on the agriculture produce here. So the process of splitting usually not carrying out by the farmers or at the farm level, but by pulse millers. Okay, it will be generally done at the mills. Okay, na? Generally done at the mills. So into pulses, changing its essential characteristics. Thus, pulses is not an agriculture produce and liable to GST. So pulses, dal, and all these are liable to GST because those are not agriculture produce. So